What Xenos technology can cause a Space Marine to lose their mind? Why does a member of the Inquisition have it? And what secret hostility do they hold against the Flesh Tearers? Friends, let's find out, and welcome to another 40k video, drawing on the audio-only story Blood in the Machine. An Inquisitor, Nerissa, enlists the help of Gabriel Seth to uncover a Titan on an Orc-invaded world. This particular Titan is an Imperator class, and not from the Forgers of Mars. It must be destroyed to prevent the Orcs getting it and looting its tech. Gabriel Seth and the Inquisitor do not like each other. With them using a particular ship, the Storm Raven, to reach their destination, the Imperial Guard on the surface will not be picked up and are left to die by the Orcs' hands. Gabriel wants to tear off the Inquisitor's head. He says she wastes the lives of the Emperor's servants, and she replies, "That is what it means to be of the Ordo. I would sacrifice every woman, man and child in this sector to do the Emperor's work. It is a shame you do not share the same clarity of purpose, Flesh Tearer." But the ship can't land the Angels, so they continue a trip on board Validus, a Titan of Imperial class. The Inquisitor gives orders to the Titan's Princeps, and I think that really marks the power of an Inquisitor, that she can just hop on board and command the Princeps of this massive Titan. And so, under the Inquisitor's order, the Titan diverts around the fighting and through the boiling sea, which should not be named so in irony. More chemical mess than body of water. It was fed a constant stream of corrosives and pollutants by the waste pipes servicing Armageddon's hives and manufactura. Superheated by the toxic mix, the sea never cooled. Seth listens, brooding, to the Imperial Guard, who couldn't get on board that ship, dying. Seth noticed a black Xenos pendant around Nerissa's neck. It's like an Elder Spirit stone. Whilst they're moving through the sea, a Titan's leg is attacked by an Orc submersible. This is repelled by the Flesh Tearers, and the Titan delivers all to a mine, and they then travel down to this mine's lowest depths. Depths where more Orcs confront them, and Seth enjoys the note of fear in the Inquisitor's voice. Harahel, a Flesh Tearer, stays to fight the Orcs, and starts a rock fall with a grenade, so others can't follow. And those that remain, including of course Seth and the Inquisitor, find the Titan, and they walk within the once mighty creature's corpse. They head for the bridge. Seth and Nizrox talk over a private vox. Nizrox is also a Flesh Tearer, and they're discussing that they've noticed there are no signs of heretical markings, and that something is not right. The Titan is not tainted. Nerissa orders charges be set, but Seth wants the truth from Nerissa, who says she wants the knowledge in the Titan and does not want it handing over to Mars as a weapon. She says it will uncover a secret of the past, that perhaps the Blood Angels were traitors. Seth fires a bolt round upon hearing this, and sadly for us, reader, this hits her energy field, and then she speaks in Eldari. Blood spilled from Nerissa's mouth as the dark words tore from her throat. The Elder Gem on her breast began to vibrate, radiating a piercing light, and a psychic shockwave hit all the Blood Angels, and pain that was not there before, lands through Gabriel Seth's legs. As his mind heard his bones snap, he fell to the floor, and he was on the vengeful spirit. The Xenos device had activated the black rage within him. Seth roared to his feet and drove his combat knife into one of his comrades' jaws. This guy's called Metatron. Blood, Gabriel thinks. Blood would wash away his shame. Blood would ease his anguish. Seth advanced and drove his foot into Metatron's chest. He would kill and kill and kill. He would kill death itself if it came for him. They fight, and Seth ducks and then is able to get near his brother and suck blood from him. Harahel grabs Seth and says, "Has the rage claimed you all?" Seth comes to his senses and sees that the Inquisitor is gone. On board, later, the Blood Angels barge, the Victus, we pick up the tale with them. "Why?" he said. Seth glared at the hololith, his eyes burning into the image of the woman who stared back at him. "Consider it payback," Nerissa responded. Though she had changed much of her appearance, there was no mistaking the contempt that flickered in the woman's eyes. For what? What debt do we owe you? Nerissa responds, Inquisitor Corvin Herald. Seth gives a low growl and says, I have met many of your kind, Inquisitor. I rarely remember their names. But Seth lied. At this point, he remembered Corvin. The Inquisitor had come with deception in his heart, and heresy on his lips. He had sought to undo the flesh tearers, to expose their curse. Corvin had sought answers in dark places. Seth had met him there, and given him a taste of true darkness. Do not mock me, flesh tearer, Nerissa says. Corvin was my master, my teacher. You broke his mind. You left him a shadow of the man he was. Whether I remember him or not is unimportant, Seth responded. What matter, Inquisitor, is that I remember you. You are a flesh tearer and a fool, Nerissa responds. If you board this vessel, I will tear you in pieces. I will force you to butcher everyone on board. Your actions will sign the death warrant of your chapter. I do not need you in this place saying these things. I do not need to board you. In fact, you would open fire, Nerissa says, and gives a mocking laugh. I think not. Your ship lies in the visual arc of a dozen Imperial warships. If you as much as power up a single weapons battery, I will have them obliterate you. We are even, leave it at that. We will meet again, Inquisitor. No, we will not, she says. Harahel behind Seth snarled and thundered his fist down into a console in frustration, and then says, She is right. If she leaves the system, we will never find her. Seth says, I know. Comson opened a channel to Chaplain Zophal. The channel is opened, and Zophal says, I stand ready, Lord. Do you have range? Seth questions. Yes, Lord, but we cannot destroy the Inquisitor's vessel without risk. The Light of Terror and the Redeemer are both within visual range, and are scheduled to translate with the gift. Nizrock also puts in, We cannot fire, we will be excised and hunted as heretics. Scar tissue shone around Nizrock's left eye socket. He had torn his eye out, giving it in penance for killing Nathaniel. Seth sighted the Light of Terror and the Redeemer and identified them as medical transports. Their hulls were crammed with tens of thousands of wounded. Seth realizes he can't do this. Nizrock is right. There can be no witnesses. Pause. Zophal launched assault torpedoes. Kill them all. Yes, Lord, Zophal responds. Seth lets go of his misgivings. He has to do this. And Nizrock finishes with, The blood cleanses. Seth turned from his warriors and paced to his flagship's Oculus. Outside in the darkness of the void, he could just about make out the Emperor's gift, the Light of Terror and the Redeemer, as their engines built up enough energy to translate into the warp. By now, the assault torpedoes launched from the Mortis Wrath were attached to the ship's hulls. Inside each, a squad of Death Company waited to be unleashed. When the trio of ships jumped into the warp, they would take the Death Company with them. The black armoured warriors would breach the hulls and massacre their way through the ships. They were berserkers, butchers, possessed of unrelenting bloodlust. They could hack, kill and murder until there was no one left. We are vengeance, Seth whispered. Seth grinned darkly. The Inquisitor's mind tricks would not work on those already lost to the madness. We are fury, Seth follows up. When there was no one left, the Death Company would turn their wrath on each other, on the ship themselves. In their rage, they would erase all evidence of their deeds. Seth felt the tension ease from his body as he watched the ships jump. He felt no regret. He would seek no forgiveness for his actions, offer up no penance. Nerissa's disregard for the lives of Imperial soldiers have appalled him because it had been unnecessary, but she had been wrong to think him above such actions. He was the angel of death, lord of murderers. We are wrath, Seth finishes. So now, friends, I turn things over to you. Who was writing this, Seth or the Inquisitor? I sided with Seth because I quite like him, but clearly both make brutal choices there. Was the Inquisitor's quest for revenge justified to get the entire chapter in deep trouble? I don't think so. And how do you feel about this Xenos device the Inquisitor could use to induce the Blood Angels into the Black Rage? Comment down below. Let's have a chat. It's a good little book.